to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Mic check. Mic check. Waifu, waifu. Torino, is that you?
Summer anime ain't over yet.
This is episode 171 of Mic Check Waifu Waifu. As always, is brought to you by Lube Complex. Make sure you go to lubecomplex.com and use that offer code Waifu to save on your entire cart. It's also brought to you by don'ttalkshop.com. It's also brought to you by our Patreon producers. Shout out to our Patreon producers. You can support us at the Weeb tier to become a producer, or you can support us at any level to get early access to the video version of the podcast, as well as the bonus podcast, the After Story podcast, which is a wonderful podcast where we discuss everything, not just anime, literally everything. But shout out to the Patreon producers, AB, Aaron Brown, Dre, the Go G, Johnny from Anime Lyrical Podcast, Kent the Pro from Chaotic Culture Podcast, Explicitly, Monique Williams, and Nachi. Thank you all so much for producing this and many other episodes of the podcast. We got a lot to discuss with you today. Shout out to our boy Phillip J. Woodward for giving us this topic today. Rather if it was it's funny because he tweeted at us and said, wow, I need a Mic Check Waifu rating on this list ASAP. The main topic of the show today is going to be IGN's top 25 anime of all time, and we're not going to go too hard on it. Maybe, I don't know, may find themselves on the other side of a antagonist, but I don't really care about what IGN has to say, but we're gonna get on it anyway. But first, how are you feeling, brother? How's your week?
I'm solid, bro. Paulo did really good in school this week. But yeah, I'm good. I'm real good. How about you, man?
Living the dream, man. I'm chilling. I'm chilling real well right now. Hi, Saber. Yeah.
What's up, Saber?
That's
Saber emotes though.
Oh yeah, I did got some more emotes for my Twitch. Shout out to my Twitch stream and my folks there for supporting me. We got a lot of emote slots that I need to fill now because of all the subs we got, but I digress. Let's get into it, man. What was your episode of the week this week?
Hard choice for me. But I think I'm gonna go with because Summertime Rendering obviously had an amazing episode, but I can't go with Summertime Rendering 2 weeks in a row. So I'm gonna go with Aowashi, which is a soccer anime that was from spring to summer. Just had a really good emotional episode this week. Okay,
and that just wrapped up, right? Finally.
Yes, that was the last episode.
Yeah, I'm quite sad at this episode of the week. Both of them, really, and it's hard for me to choose which ones of the two that I want to choose, but it's either between Vermilion Gold and A Parallel World Pharmacy. Now, Vermilion Gold had an incredible episode, obviously the continuation. I just hate the way it ended because obviously we're getting more Vermilion Gold. Very popular manga, very popular show, so I'm looking forward to that. But I'm going to inch the episode of the week this week to a Parallel World Pharmacy because indications looks like we're not going to get another season of Parallel World Pharmacy, and not saying that I need it. We don't need it because the way it wrapped up was pretty clean, really nice, fucking incredible fight. I love the way that they explained how his staff did what he did. It was incredible. I'm not going to go into any spoilers of it, but we probably might even talk about it in spoilers of the week on the second half of the show, but we'll see. But I found it to be incredibly refreshing, a very, very, very good show. We don't need more, but I would sure love more. You know what I mean? We finally got some shows that finally wrapped up, though, right? Yeah.
Black Summoner.
Black Summoner wrapped up, which I didn't know was wrapping up, which obviously is continuing because they even said it at the end.
What do you think about the Black Summoner ending?
I fucking loved it. I love this so much, bro. It just indicated that this world is much bigger than we thought. Like, and that's fucking special, because I thought it was becoming a little small because he was just he was OP. He was OP. And to know that there's more on top of what he's, been dealing with already, I can't wait to see where it goes from here.
And what made it dope is that we got to see Kelvin summon someone, right? The implications after that, because it's clear that multiple people, gods and other, may be able to summon heroes, and it was dope.
Yeah, it's dope. It's incredible. I can't wait to see what's gonna happen with the with how big this world just opened up. To be honest, Engaged Kiss completed.
Yeah, ending was funny. I'm not gonna say it was like a great wrap up for me.
Sure, yeah,
but it was funny. It was cool.
Again, this was one of the shows that was like, interesting at first, engaging at first, and then it slowly turned, I don't know, kind of just below average for me. And I was kind of I was always watching, and every time I was watching, I would find myself picking up my phone, which is something I rarely do since I've been off of Twitter and Instagram and shit. So something I rarely do is pick up my phone when I'm watching anime. And for some reason, this show and Call It a Night are two shows that I always picked up my phone on and just was like looking at it. I would just scroll through the different pages of apps that I have, like, don't want to turn on Facebook. I mean, not Facebook, Twitter. I'll get on Twitter and I'll see something. I'm like, yep, close it. That's just where I'm at. It's just it making me want to pick up my phone.
I was gonna say, ironically enough, the way I view Engaged Kiss is the complete opposite of the way you view it. Like, I thought it was kind of trash in the beginning. Like, I was trying to get into it. And I think a couple of episodes were okay, and then I felt like it fell off. Like, I actually think I like stopped one episode. I skipped 1 week, and I said I got back into it. I don't think the ending was good though, but I think it was like suitable for the anime, because it just was like okay as fuck anime. Yeah,
super okay as fuck. My stepmom daughter is my ex completed. So good, bro. So good. That rap, man. That rap indicated that it's probably going to be more, and the situation is going to. The situation changed into what it was them trying to, tolerate their situations. It changed to other things, and it was a really good show with two very likable characters with two perspectives that was so intertwined and well done that you can't help but to enjoy what these characters were. So my stepmom daughter is my ex is another surprise this season that blew me away, to be honest.
And Shadows House season 2.
Talk to me.
Just had this wrap. I'm gonna say it was a complete contrast to the first season, because the first season felt like it was very centered around like the living dolls, whereas this season was very centered around like the actual shadows themselves, and it was really interesting for me. Obviously, we're getting more of it. The way it concluded was like with mystery. Still, we still don't necessarily know exactly what's going on, or even
mystery in Shadows House. No.
Oh man, you couldn't imagine the mystery that's going to be in Shadow's house. Not with how much explaining. But yeah, it was. I liked this season. It was good for me. Was it top tier? Probably not, but it was good, enjoyable.
What you got on the Lakoya's Recoil?
Oh man, the rap of this anime was the best part of the anime.
Oh shit.
Not to like shit on it or anything like that, because it wasn't bad. But Lakoya's Recoil, the cool thing about it, and trying to avoid spoilers, is that towards the end, and I always love this, where the villain isn't actually like a villain. They're more like what do you call it, deuterogonists, or they're like they're in the middle, like an anti-villain, anti-hero kind of thing. Our main antagonist isn't really trying to ruin the world. He's just trying to make the world see something specific and make a change. Yeah. But he's been doing really bad stuff, but he even states, and this is a statement, he says, if the side that's looking for justice was weaker, I would be on your side. And I was like, I like that because it's like he's not looking for something extra, but it had a pretty solid rap. I really enjoyed it.
Dope. And then we still got one more episode of Summertime Rendering, which is obviously not a part of the summer season, but it's a show that's very dear to our hearts. Came from the spring that we're going to talk about in the second half of the show. So for the folks at home, for the second half of the show, which means after our song break, we are going to spoil episode 24 of Summertime Rendering. We're going to spoil episode 11 of Overlord 4, and we're going to spoil. Do we want
Classroom of the Elite?
Classroom of the Elite. Let's fucking go. Okay, what episode was that? That was episode 11?
12.
Yeah, episode 12 of Classroom of the Elite. Yeah. Okay. Now, without further ado, let's do further, brother. Let's talk about this topic of the show, which is going to be from our guy, like I said at the start of the show, Phillip J. Woodward. Thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. And it's IGN. I feel like the folks at IGN, it's a video game company, so I don't expect them to have,
no, I don't even respect their video game reviews. They gave Pokemon a poor review because there's too much water in a water region.
That's crazy. They are a multimedia company because they do have like a movies division or whatever, but I digress. He gave us, like I said, he said, wow, Mike Check White 44, I need a rating on this list. This list is their top 25 anime of all time. Now, before we get into their top 25, do you feel like you have a grasp on what your top 25 anime is? Because I was looking at this list, I'm like, damn, looking at this list, I don't even have an inkling idea of what my top 25 list would be.
Here's the thing, is like I can watch something and tell you if it's in like my top 50, but do I know what my actual top 50 is? Nah,
probably not.
I have no idea.
Right.
But I know that you know from watching something, like I can probably think of like 50 anime that's better than this. So I really sat down and did it.
100%. Let's start off with the top 5 of the top 25 best anime of all time list. Now, number 1, we can probably agree on, me and you both. It could be up there for people for sure, and it's a top tier anime. You can't take this away from the show, but I'm gonna just start. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Mm-hmm. That's their number 1.
Which I think is reasonable, right? Like I place it as like one of my personal masterpieces. It's an anime that I personally will say changed my life. But I can understand why somebody wouldn't put it their number 1, because I have like I said, arguably I have a different number 1.
100%.
You know?
100%. Yeah, I mean, we talk about our top 5 all the time, and our top 5 doesn't include that. Now, if we're trying to be as objective as possible, right, and not, no, because this list is a culmination of a group of people, I'm sure, at IGN that's putting this together, and they kind of weighted it by who put what where. I'm assuming, but maybe we'll do something like this in the future and give our top 25 anime of all time with a accumulated list, I should say, of what we think what should be where. But Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood at number 1. At number 2, Cowboy Bebop. Number 3, One Piece. Number 4, Monster. And number 5, Hajime no Ippo. Overall thoughts of the top 5. I should have went backwards, but
all right. Hear me out. I can rock with Full Metal Alchemist at number 1. Mm-hmm. To me, that's the most agreeable in the list. Number 2, Cowboy Bebop. I could probably rock with Cowboy Bebop at number 1 too, because I know the impact that it has on the culture of anime in general.
You're just saying objectively and not personally, right?
Yeah, not personally. It's not going to be on my top 5. Probably not my top 10 either, but I think I definitely would put it in like my top 20, top 25, because it's that kind of anime. It's like, but I mean, I can see why if we're talking about a grand thing, if we're looking at the entirety of the culture, probably I'll let it slide for top 5.
Yeah, this is the problem I have with this, Tel, and maybe I'm just too analytical. Shout out to Johnny, but top 25 best anime of all time. This list ain't called most influential anime of all time or anime with the most impact of all time, like type shit. It's not. It's literally top 25 best anime of all time. No, this top 3, no. There's no fucking way I'm putting
What's number 3? One Piece?
One Piece at number 3. There's no way One Piece is even in my top 10. Put it on 25.
I like One Piece, but I literally can't watch it. And I've said this before. I will only read One Piece because the anime just doesn't do it for me. But like I said, I think what they're doing is like they're probably looking at overall anime reviews, like what's the most viewed, most popular, most talked about kind of thing. One Piece obviously has to be in a top 5 for most talked about, but
that's not the list.
I think quality wise, I don't think it has that overall like quality. I think it has great world building. I even think it has like great story elements, but there's so much more to judging or grading an anime than that.
This ain't called the most talked about anime, the most top 25 talked about anime of all time, though. That's the point that I'm making. It's called the best. Yeah, this shit is not the best, bro. It's not the best. One Piece is great. I like One Piece fine. Watching the anime is a little slogsome because it's a bunch of fucking running in one place for 25 episodes before they get to where they need to go. But regardless, it's a good show. No, it's not top 25. No, it's not top 10. I'ma just Monster at number 4. I'm gonna be real with you. I've watched Monster. I watched Monster a long time ago. Don't remember anything about it.
Now I hear way more about the Monster manga than I hear about Monster anime. So for me to think that they put the Monster anime in the top 5 is kind of wild, because I rarely hear anyone talk about actual Monster as an anime, especially when you talk about newer anime people, right? What we're watching currently. And I think they have like a new season coming out that's going to be like a new, more updated version. But really? Like, I can't even imagine. I have no idea what Monster's even about, so I can't speak on that topic.
It's some noir detective mystery kind of shit. If I remember correctly, if I'm thinking about the same thing. Yeah, it is. But I'm just not, it wasn't that interesting rememberable to be even in my top 5 or whatever. And then Hajime no Ippo at 5.
And I love Hajime no Ippo, but come on.
Great show. Top 25. And then in the top 5, no.
Great character building, that kind of stuff, but come on.
Let's see here. Oh God, this list gets worse. Number 6. Let me just go through here. I'm gonna just go through 6 through 15. Okay. Number 6, Mob Psycho. Number 7, Hunter x Hunter. Number 8, Evangelion. Number 9, Yu Yu Hakusho. Number 10, FLCL. Number 11.
Cool.
Yep. Number 11, Bakakano. Number 12, Samurai Champloo. Number 13, Code Geass. Number 14, Demon Slayer. Number 15, Devil May Cry Baby.
All right. So hear me out. This isn't the best anime ever, right? This is quite literally the most popular anime ever.
That's exactly what this is. I agree.
It should be called the most popular anime ever, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like if that's what you are going to call your best anime, all right, that's cool. I can't really say much about your list if that's what you're doing. But this is definitely 100% the most popular anime ever. Yes.
Because oh God.
And I'm gonna be real. I fuck with Fooly Cooly, but I also can't. I don't think I would have ever watched Fooly Cooly if it wasn't on Toonami every night.
Right.
And I feel like the nostalgia from that alone had me watch a newer version of Fooly Cooly. It wasn't because I felt like Fooly Cooly was just amazing, because I really wasn't even engaged with the characters. I was trying to figure out why this, like, to me, it almost seemed a little, what is it, like pedophilia-ish, in my opinion.
Yeah, true.
Grown ass woman with a little boy, but
it's this just screams most popular, right?
Right.
I mean, you got shit like Devilman Crybaby. Devilman Crybaby was hot for like the week it came out on Netflix, and then a lot of people were talking about it because it was raunchy, I guess. Show sucks. Devilman Crybaby fucking blows. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. But people love that fucking show. Shout out to Keith, Strange Keith. This is like his number 1 anime of all time. Don't get it. Don't get it at all, bro. It's just, I've watched 3-4 episodes of that show and I'm like, what the fuck am I even wasting my, I don't give a fuck. What is going on here? You know, it's just kind of like one of those situations where I'm like, I don't even care to even try to understand what the fuck is going on. But it being 15 in this list is crazy. Demon Slayer, again, it just seems like the most popular list.
It's popping.
Code Geass, the same thing. Now, Code Geass, I can see being in somebody's top 25. Top 25 for sure. Bottom half of the 25, maybe. No. You know what? I would say this is probably the most accurate
reasonable
place.
one.
Yes. Code Geass being number 13 is probably the most accurate one. I mean, even Evangelion being number 8. Now, it wouldn't be my number 8, but I don't know.
What's next? What's the last 10, bro?
The bottom 10 is Oren High School Host Club, which is a show I would never watch, but I always hear a lot of good things about. Number 17, Attack on Titan. 18, Death Note. 19, Naruto Shippuden at that. Not even just Naruto. That's crazy. Number 20, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure entire series. 21, Made in Abyss. 22, My Hero Academia is 22, bro. It's fucking crazy. Dragon Ball Z 23, Trigun 24, and Haikyuu 25. Haikyuu is 25 in his list.
I feel like Made in Abyss being 21 and Haikyuu being 25 is actually like I that's pretty fucking wild. That's
crazy. They should be literally where Mob Psycho and fucking Hunter x Hunter is it respectively.
Yeah, this is definitely a list of popularity. Now, I will say I am very pleased that at least Made in Abyss made the list.
True. I thought it would be a little too obscure for IGN.
Right. I didn't think that was something they'd even pay attention to, but I am very happy that they made the list. Haikyuu, I expected to make the list though, and I expected it to be higher.
100%
on the list. Like that's wild that Haikyuu of all things didn't get that notoriety.
I'm gonna be trill with you. I would it might sound
scrap
crazy. Well, yeah, scrap the list generally, but I would literally remove My Hero Academia entirely from this list.
Mm-hmm. There's quite a few I removed from the list entirely.
Yeah, 100%. But like, My Hero don't belong in top 25 as far as anime goes. I know a lot of people gonna hate that. I'm just keeping it real because I've seen a lot more anime.
All right, so let's do this. Let's just on the spot. Let's put together a mic check waifu top 5, but we have to use from the 25 in this list.
I like that. Okay, top 5. I mean, that's kind of easy.
It is, yeah. But let's do it. Let's do what we can.
We're gonna both say number 1 is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Let's just put that there at number 1. As far as top 5 goes. Because I think anything else in this list ain't nothing more flawless than that.
Yeah, okay, we'll take that.
Number 2, I'm leaning towards Made in Abyss.
That's easy for me, because for me, my number 1, the only thing I could put at number 1 other than Full Metal Alchemist would be Made in Abyss. So
yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist, Made in Abyss. Then where we at number 3?
Shit.
Hold on, let me try and find this real quick. Pull it up.
This is tough.
I know, bro. I know. This is what happens when IGN just... Yes, okay, we'll take Haikyuu number 3. Easy.
That's easy. Number 4. And now this is just me. As somebody that hates mecha anime, I'm leaning towards Evangelion.
Okay, Evangelion.
Number 4, yeah.
Over Code Geass.
That's where I was going for number 5, actually. But I know you didn't see that, so I didn't want to say it.
That's perfect for me. So we're going.
Full Metal. Right. Okay, Full Metal Alchemist number 1.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Made in Abyss number 2. Haikyuu number 3. I was a toss up between these two, but I'm gonna go Evangelion number 4, and then Code Geass number 5. That's crazy. Made in Abyss is 21, dog, and Haikyuu is 25. Make that make sense.
Yeah, Reason didn't make the list.
Insane how ReZero didn't make the list.
Steins Gate didn't make the list.
Insane how that didn't make the list.
There's so many anime I can think of that.
Oh my god, bro, that's better than his top 5, to be honest. Well, obviously we going outside of Full Metal,
we could even talk about stuff that just came out within like the last 2 years.
Oh my gosh, Vivi is not on his list. Even if you're a sucker for meatheads, you ain't got Tokyo Revengers on this list.
We got Remake Our Life.
Oh my god, Remake Our Life was a smash, bro. It was a smash. Absolute smash, man. You got Clannad on this list, obviously. That's crazy. You got no slice. Wait. Is there only one slice of life on here, period?
Yeah.
Which is that Warren High School host club shit?
And obviously it didn't include actual movies, I can tell.
Oh yeah, of course. You don't.
Sheesh. But man, yeah. They only got one slice of life. Everything else is like action oriented or
I haven't seen Fully Cooley. Is Fully Cooley in that slice of life?
Action.
It's action too. That's some Fully Cooley bullshit is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I'm never watching JoJo, so I don't even know.
At least they didn't put Inuyasha on the list.
Yo, crazy if they would. There's no way they put Inuyasha on this list. Even Nigeria ain't that bad.
You know, I still ain't finished that damn that reboot with their kids.
Oh, true. I think I saw a clip of Kagome and Inuyasha's daughter hugging Inuyasha. Shit strange, bro.
Because Kagome gotta be dead at this point, right?
Yeah. No, she's still alive.
Is she 120?
I don't. Time works with the well and shit. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. Now to answer fucking Phillip J. Woodward's, instead of a score, how we do our scores, let's give this a grade. What would you grade this list?
From the anime that they put on there that I agree with, like a D. Because like there are anime on this list that I could agree with being in top 25, but there's also anime on this list that it's literally like our top 5 are the only ones I can almost agree with in the top 25, except for a couple others like yeah, but yeah, D. If we're going 5 out of 25, I think are actually worth being in the top 25. That's really like an F, but we'll give them a D.
Yeah, I was gonna go F, bro, and I was gonna go F for that exact reason. What's the fucking percentage of 5 out of 25 on a test? That's an F, right?
It's a 20%.
That's a big fat F. Last I checked. So for me, I mean, you just look at the shows they have on here. Like, as good as Demon Slayer is, no, it's not hitting my top 25. Maybe next week we'll do our top 25.
All right.
Shit, we
start making my list now.
Yeah, we ain't got shit else to do outside of finishing with like 3 or 4 shows. But yeah, we'll do our own top 25s to combat this, which is going to be a pain in the ass because it's just too big for top 25. Maybe should we? Oh, wait, is it time for reintroduction 4? We
can do that
and do a top 10.
Top 10 to be fire.
Yeah, let's do a top 10 reintroduction list. Because I'm sure maybe our top 5s are adjusted now, because, next week Summertime Rendering is ending. 86 wasn't in this list, by the way. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll do that. Reintroduction 4 next week at 172. 172. So, please be excited for that. Now, should we get to know my check waifu?
Let's do it.
This is part of the podcast where one of us rolls a random number generator, the other reads a question associated with that number. This week, we only have 3 questions on the list. There's 3 questions in our list that we created of 100 questions. Here we go.
Number 3. That's my favorite number.
What anime did you regret watching?
X-Arm.
Mm.
Worst anime I've ever watched in my life. The only anime that I would give a negative 10 out of a possible 100.
God, I can't blame you there. What anime do I regret watching? I would say, you know what, I'm gonna say it. Even though I don't have any maybe it's not a regret, but I'm gonna say I kind of regret watching was a redo of Healer. I don't regret it, but I kind of regret it. It's like a weird juxtaposition with myself that I'm like, man, I shouldn't have watched that shit, but I most certainly watched that shit.
It's a lot of psychological, emotional damage in watching that. So you're right.
Yeah, very strange. All right. When we come back, we're going to spoil the second to last episode of Summertime Rendering, the second to last episode of Overlord, and the second to last episode of Classroom of the Elite. We'll be right back after these. And we're back. It's episode 171 of Palindrome of Mic Check Waifu. We're about to spoil Summertime Rendering. So if you haven't watched Summertime Rendering yet, what are you doing? Go to the site that shall not be named. Oh, I should have mentioned this at the top of the show. What was I thinking? Did you know there was one episode of a show I watched on Crunchyroll today that had the skip intro button? Crunchyroll is bringing the skip intro button. It's like they heard us. I think they listened to this podcast because we mentioned that. I'm like, we mentioned that a couple of weeks ago. Like, how does the site that shall not be named got a skip intro button, but Crunchyroll don't? That's wild to me.
Yeah, they tired of us complaining.
True, get that shit
as
together.
A community. Tired of hearing it.
While they were updating it, though, I couldn't log in and I was pissed. It was pissing me off. Anyway, Summertime Rendering episode 24, bro. The episode Eve, which technically this ended. 25 is the wrap up of everything and how it kind of comes together. To be honest, man, fucking beautiful so far. Beautiful with the way this was. Everything was explained so thoroughly, yet so well. What's funny is that even though they explained it, I didn't need them to, because I understood exactly what was happening when it happened. Which made it interesting.
Yeah, and there were like details. Like I love how like they always pay attention to detail when they do stuff. They never take away from what they've already presented to us as like the audience. They've always built on that, and they continue to do that in this. So it just felt like they, you know, like I said, and I've said this before, and you've said this before, they paid attention to what they wrote. You know, like. And I know that sounds wild to even say like they paid attention to what they wrote because they wrote it, but like there's so many authors out there who when they write a story, they're not actually, it doesn't feel like they're actually paying attention to it.
Or following their own rules. Yeah,
they're not following their own rules, but they literally have rocked with their own rules. They stood by everything that they said the entirety of this show. Yeah. And they presented us with this like great culmination of things where like we still have like this kind of like sense of hope, and we still have this sense of resolve like that happened, and the story has ended.
Well said.
And ended so smoothly, and it's like I like you said, I don't feel like I misunderstood anything.
No.
I feel like I understand everything, regardless of them not explaining it or not, or whatever. It's like they've done this so adequately. It's crazy.
It's beautiful because you think about the fact that who Heine was, right? And what Heine could do. It fucking all, dude. Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna jump around a little bit, but the fact that they did what Steins Gate did, what all the good time-based animes do, and they referenced the first episode. The way they referenced the first episode is by having Ushio right there on the boat. How we saw her the first minutes of the first episode of her, make sure you find me, and she's crying, and it's like this the situation where Shinpei is dreaming, quote unquote, and he screams Ushio, and he's in the chest of Hizuru. Like fucking master class craft story writing right there. The fact that the fucking second to last episode, let's just say, features what happened or what is the first episode. That's how you know they wrote the shit backwards. We say this shit all the time. They wrote it backwards. They started there and then worked their way back, which is beautiful. But to rewind and go back, the fight with Shide was incredible, bro.
Intense too, bro.
So intense, man. I'm like, fuck, man. He doesn't have this much time there because they established that last episode that he only has a certain amount of time before his body degrade. Then he gets into this fight with Shide, and I'm like, well, fuck, because what they decided to do was a crazy ass plan, which should have worked technically, but because it didn't, it worked, but it didn't work because Shide already had that fight with fucking Hizuru, and they did try to do that same thing, which blew me back because I forgot that we even saw that Shinpei didn't. And that was killer, bro. And
it was amazing because he literally said, you've been operating on the same premise that if you know it, you can combat it.
Yep.
Why would you think basically that he can't do that? Yep. They did exactly what they've been doing. If they know what's going to happen, they can fight it.
Especially if they know and Shide don't, which is was the case when Shide was fighting Hizuru, and they did that same thing where Ryunosuke tried to take over the armor of Shide, which we saw as viewers. Shinpei didn't. Ugh.
Now, when they actually have, like, you know, they're having the fight and everything, what I loved the most is that bird's eye view.
Yeah, that shit was sick.
Right? And how they explained it, even, because they did explain it quickly and briefly, but it makes sense, right? We have Ryunosuke using Shinpei's body, and basically saying, like, look, I'm going all out for 2 minutes. And in that time frame, what ends up happening is that, you know, and this is like real life stuff here. If you're moving consistently, you're going all out. Your nerves and your body starts to get loosened up, and your body becomes acclimated to moving like that.
Oh yeah,
he's moving like a shadow in this realm of the shadows and whatnot. Shinpei gets this bird eye view, and he's like, this is how shadows see time. This is relevant to them. So he actually gets a chance to see it. So he and they even Shide is like, he can't do the time skip. He can't see 2 seconds ahead of time right now. Yet he's still able to dodge me. And why is that? Because he's becoming acclimated to it himself. It's not just Ryunosuke anymore. Shinpei himself became acclimated to it. And that's what ended up saving him in the end, is that Shinpei became acclimated to, you know, this type of movement, this type of speed, regardless of how much pain and whatnot his body was going through. He became acclimated to it. And it was just so cool to actually see how they utilize that. And it didn't feel like, I'm guessing it could be because of my knowledge, but it didn't feel like something that was just bullshit. It felt like this is reality. This is what can and what could happen.
It was beautiful, man. It was so well done. It was so, again, a masterclass of itself. Now when we came back and we saw what happened to Ushio, it felt like something unbelievable. Like I felt like they were going to lose when Ushio, whatever happened to her.
She was like turning to a child-sized person.
Yep. Because she couldn't recover because she only was using a few strands of hair that Mio gave her from Ushio's original body, which is fucking crazy, man. It's crazy to think about all these rules they set up that they just follow so excellently. But what I'm saying is, like, her taking the little bit of power she have left and turning the bullets into the eraser, or the hack, I should say, was fucking incredible. Now my question is, Shide being as smart as he is, do you feel like he knew exactly what was going on?
I mean, well, that's the thing, is like you said, Shide, if he doesn't know, there's no more looping at this point. Shide couldn't have known. Right. Now, I think that if we talk about what happened, right, the entirety of this show, this was 2 minutes of time.
Yep.
of what happened for them to hold him off like that. Now, a gun fires at like 900 yards per second, something stupid like that. Yeah. If it hit Shide, and it's a shotgun, so it's gonna spread. It was, and we saw that Heine, when she was in her regular form, couldn't stop the erasing.
Right.
So how there's nothing Shide could really do to combat the actual erasing or hacking part of that.
Yeah, but did he know that? Because what they did was genius. Shide was shooting a shotgun like it was nothing. Like the bullets were just regular bullets. He didn't know that the hack was coming from Ushio turning into the shotgun and then hacking. So like my thought process is like, is that all that was? He was just trying to stop him from getting a shotgun because maybe he knew that they were hacking. I can't remember if he said anything about that or not.
And I know that he didn't know they were hacking, right? And I think that's also why they put in that moment with Ryunosuke trying to get into the armor.
Yeah.
Because of the fact is that they want to establish that he didn't know. And we know Shinpei even said, if he doesn't know. You know, he said it in that moment.
True, yeah.
So it was like they were trying to establish that.
Yeah, because if that's the case, Shide would have killed him way faster than just fooling around with him and talking to him and all that shit.
Right.
So, yeah, that makes sense.
The only question I would have is, like, could Shide have destroyed the bullets and in turn also destroying her? But Ushio, also, like the armor, the armor itself isn't as strong as a bullet, you know?
Well, she
like,
didn't.
It can't.
She didn't turn into the shock. No, she did. She did. Okay,
she did, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's as strong as a bullet. Like, I think I think even with that, right? Because if you touch it, it's gonna hack you.
right.
So there was nothing that he could really essentially do.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
His only option was to avoid it, and he didn't see it coming. That happened in a split second.
So after the fight, it's all over. Ushio gets Hiruku or Haine or whichever one she is. I think she was Haine, the original Haine, while Hiruku was the one that was actually free and with the white hair. So she grabs Haine, the baby, the infant, the fetus, and she.
Oh no, the fetus is Hiruku. Haine is the one with white hair.
Okay, and she grabs her and she starts to erase her, and it takes them back to the original beach that was again established early on in the fucking season,
300 plus years ago.
Incredible, which was again 300 plus years ago, and they kind of pieced what they had to do together. And shout out to fucking Shinpei being able to talk to Haine at the time and say like, hey, go get an adult, don't fuck with this well, basically, and sent her on her way. She goes screaming, Leo's ghost, which is fucking dope.
Now,
yeah,
I was gonna say my favorite part of this was not necessarily even the emotional distraught that I had to feel listening to them talk about that, but it was just the smallest detail that the whole time Shinpei still had that black mark on his arm.
Oh yeah.
And then as soon as the whale gets erased, it disappears instantly because there's no more of Hiruku. It's just not a thing anymore. And I was like, man. So I was like, and I know it's petty, but it's just like I love them paying attention to that detail, that everything alongside that has to disappear.
Yeah. So with that, like, since they erased it 300 years ago, why would Ushio be dead?
Because if you remember, Ushio is now the new embodiment of like the actual Hiruko, right? Like she's the actual power embodiment of that. So even though, because they even said it in this episode too, even though Ushio is the real thing now, because she is Hiruko now. Yeah. She, she's still going to, revert. And that's kind of like what she was going through. So, because I didn't want her to have to go away, and I still feel some kind of hope that she's not going to be entirely gone. Whether
that's what I was thinking.
Maybe she goes back into like that necklace and she still has like some kind of presence or something. I have no idea. But I go ahead.
Regardless of what you're saying right now, the fact that the well is erased 300 years ago does not change the fact that with that well being gone, the events of the shadows period didn't happen. Which should mean, in technicality, that Ushio is not dead. Which should mean that everything that happened that revolved around shadows should not have happened, period. Because she died from saving the little girl. The little girl pulled her down when she was trying to save her because it was actually a shadow. Mm-hmm. So, if that didn't happen because it was erased 300 years ago.
But let's look at this, right? And this is where I think things are going to get confusing. And let's talk about timelines, right? There had to be a timeline in which Ushio erased things, right? Which means that the entirety of what they did does exist still, just not in that timeline that they're in. The timeline technically is still parallel somewhere else.
Yeah, so she that's exactly where I was going with that. She basically transferred Shinpei, our OG Shinpei, to a timeline where the well didn't exist, which should in turn technically mean that Ushio exists still.
Possibly, and that's what I'm thinking, right? Ushio might still be there, might still exist.
Yeah.
But it could be even like maybe in any timeline, this is time for Ushio to die. You know, we don't know how it quite works, but like, let's say she does go to a different timeline. Let's say this is going to be Ushio still, but this is the Ushio from a different timeline who doesn't remember everything that he's been through, and he might still remember. You know, so it's all kind of different things ways we could put it, but regardless of it, I know that like I don't think I personally don't think that Ushio is going to be dead when we get here. I just think that she's going to be so excited to see him. That's why she's like crying, right? This version of Ushio will never see him again, but he's going to get to see Ushio again.
And yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And again, and maybe I'm on my multiverse shit, like my Marvel's multiverse shit. And maybe you could be right. Maybe it's that point in time where the reason why he's back on the ship is to go back to his friend's funeral. That's just it. She's just dead. So regardless of if she erased the shadow or not, she dies some other way, like in some Final Destination kind of shit. Like, it's interesting to think about. I hope she's not, but maybe he's coming back for another reason. I don't know. But regardless, it was fucking sick. I love this fucking show. Now my question,
haven't failed us yet.
Now my question is, what if this whole thing was her for her? I'm just talking crazy now, but what if it was just for them to say, okay, now this is where it starts, and it's just a fucking endless loop of the same shit over and over and over, and then they go back to where they started again.
I mean, you did see that name in Summertime Re-Rendering.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. It could be some bullshit like that, which would be fucked up, be awful. Then he'll be worse than Subaru, in my opinion.
This would actually be a horror anime at that point. It's still considered horror. Straight up. This would be considered a horror anime at that point, because now I'm distraught. Now I'm pissed.
Yeah, that'd be fucked up.
Ain't no way.
All right, so our gut checks is basically that Ushio isn't dead, since she erased everything that had to do with shadows 300 years ago in this new timeline. I think that's a gut check that we both can agree with.
Yeah, I think here's kind of what I think also. I think she's going to do the same thing that she did with the memories being put into the Ushio with the seashell. Like, she's going to transform herself into the seashell, and that's how she'll be able to see him again.
But can she put that in like
if she can put him back into a new timeline, she can definitely do something like that. Maybe I'm
thinking about, because what if she's not dead now that she erased the will?
Yeah.
Are you talking about put the memories into her original form?
Yeah, because I'm talking about, like, this is a different timeline Ushio, and we've known that there were two Ushios in that timeline. Mm-hmm. They showed us that. I think they did that for a reason, and then they also, when she was gone, they made sure to show that she still had that necklace on. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the necklace is going to have some of that importance there.
Very true. Very true. Good shit, man. Good shit. All right, I'm going to be honest with you. Let's move on to Overlord. Overlord 4, episode 11 or 12. Fuck, dude. This episode fucking flew by.
It did fly by. Now, hear me out, because I don't want to make it seem like I didn't like this episode. I think we're on the same page. It just felt like stuff happened, but like nothing happened almost.
Yes, and but that's Overlord, right? Like, Overlord's always been that. It's always been that slight movement of smaller pieces that lead to the bigger piece. But this one really did feel like nothing happened, but a lot did happen.
Right, it's like weird, what's his name? Brain.
Gauss got his ass smoked,
and it was so honorable too, because Kakaitis that's him.
Yep,
that's him.
Yep. But they put him on ice, so they're gonna revive him, obviously. That put him on ice was, and what's funny is that he said that he never heard that name before, but I could have sworn that Ainz had a conversation with all of them, like if you run into certain people to keep them alive or something like that.
Yeah, but did Ainz actually know Brain's name?
Yeah, Shoutier said something about it. There was this one that blah 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 blah. I forget what episode that was. It was early in the season though, and she said, okay, if we run into them, bring him back to the Temple of Night. What she is. I mean, he's on ice. They can resurrect him. We already know how that shit go, because they made that a point as well to talk about resurrection. To go back to kind of like last episode after that fight, which is, I'm still learning shit about that fight, by the way. I even learned even more of it, which fucking incredible, by the way. Yeah. This was the most like the beginning of the episode when they talked about what happened. It was the most genius plan ever, because now you got them now with Pandora's actor, when he was, making it seem like Ainz was weak. Ainz was like, no, you did a very good job, because what they're going to do is they're going to grossly underestimate me, which then means when he popped the fuck off with the one hit kill on everybody, Everybody gonna be shocked as shit and they gonna know how to combat it. Well, what they gonna do is they gonna know how to combat the Ainz that they fought, which is not Ainz. Which is
not Ainz. It's a 80% Ainz,
and that's
without the Ainz battle mentality.
Exactly. And what's funny is that the 80% Ainz still could have beat the Platinum Dragon. That's what's so fucking crazy about all of this. But his goal was to get as much information from the people they were fighting as they could, while Ainz obviously watched. And come to find out that there was so much shit that happened. Like when he summoned that what was it something king, the Death King or whatever it was. When he summoned that thing was putting in work in like the manga or whatever, from what I've read on the wiki. I think was putting in so much work that that every move that he used hurt himself, because he buffed himself with his life force, and it basically, he was going so hard that it killed him faster than he's ever died before, because he was just popping off, which is something I wish we would have saw in the anime, but we didn't. But to go back to Cocytus and our girl Aura running through the city, bro. Do you feel bad at all for the humans?
No, and only because, like, hear me out. There's a lot of reasons for why things are happening the way they are, right? Reason number one is that Ainz gave y'all a fucking chance. Y'all made yourself vassals to him. Or not vassals, but y'all made yourselves allies to him, and then turn around and you traded on him. He's not the bad guy here. Like, he is a bad guy in a sense, yes.
I get
he
what
is
you're
definitely
saying.
a bad guy, but he's not really the bad guy. Is he doing a bit of an extreme amount of force? 100%. This is an extreme amount of force.
Facts.
But also, y'all literally were scared of him to begin with. Y'all were scared of him to begin with. Why did you want to, in the black community, why would you want to fuck around and find out?
True.
He's literally undead, and they know how undead work. They don't have emotions.
Yep.
So he thinks nothing of erasing you.
Yep. Well
and
said.
You traded on him. He thought he was doing the most logical thing, because, like I said, he's an undead who has no emotion. So all he's going to do is try and be the most logical as possible.
Right.
He didn't want to erase you. He wanted to help have utilization and grow his community, grow his kingdom. Instead, y'all had to fuck around and find out. and then when the prince came and talked to him and showed him some level of actual, like, genuine, like, honorableness and notoriety and kingliness, like, showed him something that was actually worth saving, y'all went and beheaded him and gave him his head.
Stupid asses.
As like an offering. Now he has no more remorse. He already didn't have the remorse, but now you've actually gone and pissed off somebody who couldn't be pissed off to begin with.
You know what else upsets me? And I just wish that that they gave us this in the anime. But after that beheading, right, there were 400,000 soldiers that came with the prince. They were supposed to, quote unquote, intercept Ainz in the Temple of Nazareth. Those 400,000 soldiers
died instantly.
They're probably instantly killed. Yeah. There's implications. This not even talked about in the manga, but there's implications that they pretty much got wiped the fuck out. So with those 400,000 soldiers dead and gone, who's in the kingdom? As we saw when Cocytus marched through that motherfucker, freezing everything. Not no one. And the only ones that were there were stumped on the wall by Aura's fucking her monsters. When she brought up the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yeah, dude. I was like, yo, what the fuck? I forgot she has so many summons that are like fucking high 80s in levels to these little peons of people. Man. Wait a minute.
She had to tell the T-Rex to go walk around the village and stomp on anybody you see.
Yeah, just stomp on the wall and kill anybody you see.
Because you're too big to be coming with me right now.
What makes this so fucking clean is that like all this shit that we're talking about now, I forgot happened. Like the brain thing, the Kokaitis just marching through the town, and then the conversation between Ainz and Pandora's actor. Like all of that was huge, but it just went by so fucking fast, man. It's so good. Bro.
What was the Crimson little group? The little
I forgot about that too.
And how they had to beat up their leader to like subdue her and teleport her out of there because they like, I'm not trying to fight.
Genius.
And Brain like, I'm not running. Then we found out the princess actually got some sword skill though.
Right.
But we know that she also kind of rock with Ainz.
Yeah, no, she kind of. It ain't no kind of about it. She's literally Albedo's underling.
So she will be there. She gonna rock with them. I'm
curious to see where that's gonna go. Like that's the gut check we need. What the fuck is gonna happen from there?
They're gonna place her at the top of the kingdom, 100%, and they gonna still run it anyway. But
I mean, I said that he planned on flattening it so that they could be used as an example for the rest of the nations to know to not fuck with the Great Tomb of Nazarick.
So he's gonna. I mean, I can't see him not utilizing the lands. That wouldn't be something intelligent of someone like Ainz. And I could definitely still market it as like a fuck around and find out area.
He literally, that's exactly what he said though. He said this is going to be a decimated land for people for thousands of years to come, so they know that you don't fuck with the Great Tomb of Nazarick. This is what can happen to you.
You think he's gonna revive the prince? Or he gonna let him just have his death?
The prince is probably
because he didn't have his body, right? He never had his body.
Right, and he wanted that armor too. So yeah, no, he's dead and gone. But I think Brain is definitely gonna come back, and he gonna become an underling and probably train with somebody and become even more powerful. Well, become powerful because Brain ain't got shit on anybody that's in the tomb.
He's powerful to regular people though. Like level, he's like level 40, level 35, something like that.
35, yeah. Actually, I think he was 30 and the other dude was 35. I'm gonna have to pull up his character sheet. But no, it's fucking crazy, man.
And you know what's funny is, like I said, there's a lot that happened in this episode, but I feel like nothing happened.
Right.
It just all happened like so fast, but like
well said, man.
Like it wasn't like I'm not, and like I said, I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying it happened, but nothing happened. But like you said, and the reason that 400,000 people actually disappear and die.
Exactly. So there's nothing that could happen.
There's still some people manning the gates, but it ain't enough. It's not. It's negligible. So yeah, maybe that's why. Yeah,
because that was all they had. That was literally all they had. So him marching through this town, killing anybody, which luckily they gave the villagers time to evacuate, and then they took the high Eight Fingers people that 1,000 of the Eight Fingers people and the people that they wanted to bring with them. So they're out of that town. Interesting. Gut check for next week, man. I'm thinking obviously the kingdom's going to be fucking decimated, and we're going to find out what the fuck the princess plan is, which I think she's the one that's been hiding the movements from the Great Tomb, right? When they were taking over shit around them during this war call. And I think she's been feeding them information, as well as she's just trying to find a way to maybe even keep her orphanage kids. Or did he get the kids out already?
Yeah, because I don't think he's killing the kids at all.
Yeah. And then fucking what's his name? Klein in the English dub.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we might lose Klein.
I think the princess is gonna save Klein.
Yeah, because that's her pet. You right.
Yeah. But I think the princess is gonna boss up. I would like to see her boss up. I would like to see him take someone from the village, an actual person, not like Hamsky, because we know they could have just sent Hamsky to this fucking village and he would have killed everybody.
True, very true.
Because isn't Hamsky stronger than Brain too?
Yep.
So like they could have been like, "Hey, Hamsky, go take care of this real quick."
and then Hamsky had been training. He was the fucking dummy to find out if regular beings could be trained from this world. So yeah, he's probably even higher than that now, which is fucking interesting because he had that Death Knight to train with. Oh, so good, bro. It's so good. It's a wrap. It's a wrap with this kingdom. We gonna wipe this shit out, and then the Thane theocracy, the slain theocracy is gonna pull up in that movie. which I'm
and get slain.
Yeah, straight up. I'm so looking forward to the Slain Theocracy has the Platinum Dragon, and they have the what's they Devil Children or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. So that's gonna be interesting. That movie's probably gonna actually cause some. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna cause some trauma for the Great Tomb, but they're gonna have a slight challenge, I think personally, because I think these were like remnants of players is what they call it, but players, like the players training people and these people becoming something else, or maybe even some of them are players. I don't know. I'm interested to find the fuck out though.
Yeah, it would be dope if some of them actually are players, and then Ainz can actually get that interaction. Oh. But even if they are just people who were trained by players, that's still dope too. Straight up.
All right. With that being said, let's move on to the spoiler show of the week. You saw what I've been when I talk about the mocap suits, bro.
Oh yeah, this is the worst episode of Classroom Elite I've seen so far. This is the meathead episode.
You are crazy out your fucking mind. It was so fire, bro.
Nah, who told him to know Wing Chun though? Is he Ip Man? Who is he, bro?
Man, he was chopping them boys. First off, I want to say,
demon.
I want to say that what he did, the fact that it was all just a part of the fucking grand scheme of things. Like, no, you didn't set this up. I did. Ryun, I made sure that you set this up so I can fuck you up without any issues. The fact that he did that, he thought that through, that whole thing through, especially when it came to him trying to figure out who the mastermind is. Mm-hmm. They got rid of the cameras. They got rid of everything that anybody can find. The fact that when Ryun beat the ass of whoever the mastermind is, quote unquote, that he couldn't be tied to it. He even brought his teacher and the fucking former president, student body president. Fucking genius, bro. Absolute genius. But he's like, okay, just in case things go wrong, I'm gonna have y'all here, but I'm gonna go take care of this real quick. I'll be back. Then he go in, like I said, some of the most beautiful animation I've seen. No 3D used whatsoever at all, and he was fucking throwing them hands with the entire class. Well, with the top of Class C, with his dull ass look on his face. Now, what did you take from this?
I only Koji ain't to be fucked with.
Ain't to be fucked with, bro.
That was another episode to fuck around and find out. But cause bro, man. Now
in the shit he was
obviously
talking.
He planned everything, and then when he came there and it was like, so this is part of your plan. He's like, I don't have a plan. I came here to throw them things.
Yeah, ain't no plan.
Ain't no plans. Like the plan was to get here. Once we got here, that's it.
That's
It's a wrap. It's a wrap for y'all. He's like, he looked at him. He said, it's 4 of us and 1 of you. He's like, I don't see a situation here where I'm losing.
Yo, that was the line of the hour, bro.
I don't see a situation. I don't see anything, any situation here where I'm losing. I think, and even when he go ahead.
I was just about to say, I think my favorite part of that was what he did to the girl. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, and then when he broke what's his name, Ryu down, when he broke the dude down.
Oh my god!
And dude is like, he like telling him like, I want you to feel fear, and he's like, I don't feel this fear you're talking about.
He's like, what do you? I have no reason to feel fear right now. You're getting your ass beat, basically.
And then flip him over and then start punching on him, and I'm just like, God. I'm thinking like, he gonna stop at some point. He gonna stop after the 10th punch, I hope. Nope, more
crushing
blood.
That man's face, man. I think the best part about the show is that even though it was meathead as fuck, they were still having the most diverse and the conversation was so good because it was all of what Ryun basically wants. He wants to basically he wants to control everything, and he knows that, okay, this is a part of your plan, but why do you live amongst these normal people when you have all this power? He's like, because it's why not? You know, why not? And he's just like, well, I'm here. I've never felt fear before, and blah 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 blah. There's no reason for me to feel fear. Why he getting his ass whooped all at the same time was the craziest thing I've ever seen, man. I just loved it. Now I to think that I actually cared about another character in the show, and that being the girl. Yeah, man, I actually cared about her.
But we care about her because he even though he utilized her, right? Like he used her. He definitely used her.
100%.
And she was abused and tortured because he used her. He still, regardless of him not showing emotion, showed that he's not going to abandon her.
Mm-hmm.
So now she feels like a staple character for him.
Yes.
And like, I like her way more than I like whatever the fuck the other girl name is. I don't even know her name.
Horkita or some shit.
Yeah, but because she stood by what she said for him,
fire.
It's like he knew she was gonna stand by it. He popped up and was like, all right, it's a wrap. And then just so you know, next time anything like this happens, just know.
Next time and forevermore, basically, is what he was saying.
I will be here to throw them things.
Ooh, that shit gave me chills, man. This whole episode gave me fucking chills, bro. It was so good. It was just so good to the point I was blown. This is where all the animation money went, like clearly, because I was so blown away with how good this shit looked. This shit looked like that. What's that Chinese anime that everybody like to use? Where they was throwing them things, but the anime you said sucked.
Tell me no Shira.
Yeah, that shit.
It didn't look that good, but it definitely had the smoothness of how them punches were thrown,
and the weight.
It was, but it was like you're right though. The weight was right though, because it wasn't like a heavy punch, but it was like heavy enough to where like I'm gonna let you know. And then he knocked the girl out, beat dude up. Dude, get up. He said you shouldn't yell when you come to punch somebody.
And he's just fucking flicking.
Like, this ain't Dragon Ball Z, bro. This is fucking Classroom of the Elite, and I'm the elite. Calm down.
So fire, bro. Everything about it was just too fire. It was so good. I think I want to rewatch that episode before I go into the last episode, which we already know is confirmed for season 3. It was confirmed for season 2 and 3 at the same time, so that's good. Apparently, there's this rooftop scene that everybody was talking about. Not entirely sure what that means yet. Luckily, I ain't been spoiled on it, but people just keep saying rooftop scene. Maybe this is what they were talking about, but I don't know how I can get any better. I just want, and then, what did you think about the conversation he had with the former president about getting his sister on the council? Like what? Like I was not expecting that.
I feel like even though Ayana Koji said he didn't have motivation, I think he's always had motivation. I think him saying he didn't have motivation was part of his plan. I think that
I don't see that.
I don't know what it is though. It's something about it because I feel like he already done planned everything this entire show, right? Like everything has been underground. So like he definitely got some motivation, even if his motivation is just to get out, right? Like if his motivation is to come to that school and do the bare minimum, whatever his plan is going to be him to get there. But like he's pulling the strings and it's something to benefit him. I'm not sure what the benefit is for him yet. I just don't know yet. And I don't think we will know yet.
Yeah, but what did you think about her brother, Horikita's brother, asking Ayana Koji to get her to the student council body or whatever? Because I didn't think that her brother fucked with her, so I'm confused on why.
But you know how it's a family thing, familial ties. It's like family. If the whole family is elite, then you know it's a symbol, status symbol. You know,
that's probably all it is too. Yeah, because I don't see the student council.
She kind of like she stand by her brother kind of thing.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I feel like she been promoting her ties to her brother, her bond or loyalty to her brother, but he hasn't really shown any of that in you know in the reverse end of that.
Yeah,
but I think that definitely that's what it is that like it's not about family for him, it's about the status of like making sure the family looks good. Yeah.
So you don't really give a fuck about her. Interesting. Okay, yeah, you might be right about that. It blew my mind though. I'm like, wait, why are we just gonna skip past that? Because we did just kind of like it just kind of glanced over that and like, wait, that was something on my mind that had me a little curious. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. Because he seemed like he was embarrassed of his sister, probably because she's in class D, obviously,
which is embarrassing.
True. Interesting stuff, man. I thought it was a great episode. I'm looking forward to next week's end of season 2. And I wonder how long we're going to have to wait for season 3. But hopefully not as long as it took for season 2 to come out. 4 fucking years. I think I want to rewatch the dub, because I know the dub got the got Ayane Koji's voice as Deku, but like a fucking monotone version of it. It's so fire. It's so fire. It's such a his name is Justin Briner or something like that on Twitter.
I can try it. I don't remember if I like. I don't think I like Deku voice in the sub or dub.
Yeah, you don't like his voice, period. I like the actor. I think he's really good. I do. I think he's really fucking good as both characters. I would have preferred them to get Ricardo, which is the main character of the dub of Grimgar Fantasy and Ash.
But it's the same voice actor though from the first season, right?
Yeah, same voice actor.
Then yeah, I actually think his voice is better for Ayane Koji.
Yeah, because it's super like monotone and ungiving a fuck. All right, man, that's a wrap, bro.
All right. We just finished talking about Classroom Elite and this elite ass episode they gave us this week. Overlord season 4, and this it happened, but it didn't happen, you know? Great episode though. Summertime re-rendering. Man, I am so excited to see how this finally wraps up. It's definitely animated year for me so far. I don't know how you're gonna beat it. This is the raid boss of the year. Get to know Mic Check Waifu. We had anime you regret watching. I know y'all got some. Y'all let us know. Next week, just so y'all know, we're gonna do our top 10, our re-introduction. We also talked about IGN's top 25 anime, and we talked about Mic Check Waifu top 5 that we could just put together from there. It's just kind of little fun stuff to do. But some stuff wrapped up this week. Licorice Recoil, Shadow House, My Stepmom's Daughter's My Ex, Engaged Kids, Black Summoner, all wrapped up, and some of them had some really good endings. Others not so much. Episodes of the week were Ayawashi and Parallel War Pharmacy. You know, Parallel War Pharmacy always been great. Ayawashi, for y'all who's watching the sports anime, banger as usual. But that's been episode 171 of Mic Check Waifu.
I'm at Polo Bornfly on all social media.
I'm at King Teliano on all social media.
You can follow our social medias at Mic Check Waifu on Twitter and at Mic Check Waifu on Instagram and TikTok. And as always, Mic Check.
You're now tuned into Mic Check Waifu. Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you?